welcome to the Ballarat Football Netball League, a netball TV show. My name's Yeendy. I'm joined by Tara Murray from the Star Weekly, who's giving us a chop out this week. We had some big games last weekend. We've got some big games this week. I think round one was very, very interesting.
It was. There was a couple of close results with sides that have been up the top the last couple of years that were really tested by some other sides, and then some of those lower sides trying to get wins first up.
Yeah, fantastic. And we certainly saw that with the first game we'll look at. We had Melton South 46 defeating Melton 33. A new look Melton South side with a new coach in there who is the reigning AFL Goldfields Coach of the Year, Alan Watson. You followed his work a bit over recent years. He's doing some great things down there at the Panthers.
It is, and I actually spoke to Alan Watson last week ahead of their first match, and they don't have a single A-grade player of last season, so completely new lineup. There has been 5 players come across from Lancefield with Watson, so there's Taylor Watson, T. Salamara, Courtney Arnett. You've got Reese, who's also a good goaler, and you've got Olivia Powell. So you've got 5 really good players there who have come across from Lancefield, which were runners-up in the RDFL Grand Final last year. And then you've also got a lot of younger players, so they've got a real mixture of youth and experience. For the Panthers, it's a matter of getting them all on the court at the same time. It's sort of a little bit of a problem they had at Lancefield, and it's a similar problem they've got here.
Because a lot of them play VNL as well.
It is, and you look round one, they missed. T was with the Victorian under-19 team. Olivia Powell didn't play, and they've still had a 13-goal win. So a lot of good signs there. And we're probably playing another up-and-coming side in Melton. Melton last year has a very young side, and I think they're probably even younger again this year. They lost their former coach, Katie Kozowski. She's gone across to, I think it's Darley.
Yep.
So she's gone across there. So that takes a lot of experience out of that defensive lineup. So for them, it's about building the future and bringing these young girls through to see what they can do over the next few years.
Still a lot of positives coming out of the other Bloods camp as well. And a game that we were sort of looking at from last week that probably thought that could be a little bit bigger in the margin department, but they replicated their rivalry from 2017. The Battle of the Lions. It was Sunbury, the reigning premier, defeating Redan 40-39 by 1 goal.
I'm not actually surprised about the margin. Obviously, these two sides played off in a prelim final last year, so 2 of the better sides of the competition. You've got Sunbury Lions coming off of the premiership, but they started with only 4 of their starting 7 from last year's grand final. So Monique Clark's gone to Romsey. Chloe Curran might only play a few games before she heads overseas. So I'm missing her, and I'm missing Alira in the mid-court as well. But you look at but they've got the win. Obviously, Ali Randall steps into the starting 7 up the defensive end. They had Tani Adams start as their goal shooter, and Tani's been part of the Victorian mixed representative program the last couple of years, so she's had a lot of experience there, and that's probably where her connection with Adam comes, because I know he's been part of that as well. Probably the disappointing thing for the Lions, their shooting accuracy was pretty low. They only shot 56 for the game, so that's probably where the thing is for the Lions, that they need to step up and take that to the next level. Ashley Smith was best on court for Redan in the defensive end, so she made things pretty difficult up that shooting end for the Lions.
So that definitely had a big impact, and probably Ashley Smith, she did a fantastic job last year. I think she's one of their captains or one of the leaders as well, so she's done a lot of great work there, so they have an impact on this game. It's going to show the defence held up at the right time.
It is, and Sunbury Lions were still missing Renee Hales, one of their off-season recruits in that shooting circle, to give them another option. So obviously poor shooting performance. I'm expecting the Lions to step up this week.
Fantastic. Bacchus Marsh 40 defeating Darley 32. A game that probably could have gone either way heading into this contest. Bacchus Marsh too strong by 8 goals.
It is. These two sides have been always an interesting mix. These two sides always been around the same, and one will get it one year, one will get it the next year. And looking at it, both sides look like they've got very, very similar lineups to last year. Bacchus Marsh, I can't remember. Katie Kozowski comes in. I think it's it's actually the Bacchus Marsh, not Darley. So she adds a little bit more experience that side. So I did get that wrong before. That's but yep, she comes into Bacchus Marsh and adds a little bit more experience. And you've still got Darley has a number of experienced players in there as well. So it'll be interesting how both these sides are going, whether they can rise up the ladder. Darley obviously has a new coach out there. Bacchus Marsh has still got Michael as their head coach, and hopefully both of these sides will see a few more wins from them.
Yeah, exactly. Good positive start there from both sides on the court. And then we had a couple of games over at Ballarat. We had North Ballarat City 62 defeating Sebas 53, a highly entertaining contest where over 100 goals were scored, and the reigning grand finalists showed some good touch against a team that is going to be up there on the mark.
Exactly, and Sebastopol can continue to improve. You've got the Cairns sisters up there leading the way for Sebastopol, but North Ballarat City were too strong. They've got a number of those players that have been in the grand final side last year, and they've been around the mix for a number of years, so not surprised to see them get the win early on.
Yeah, and a very good game too, if you don't mind, in that shootout. And the last game we had East Point 58 defeating Ballarat 37.
It's a pretty one-sided match all game. East Point sort of dominated and quite convincing. You had Lauren Juice shoot 45 goals for East Point, so she outscored Ballarat by herself.
Yep,
so pretty strong win there for them.
Bit of a day out for her, and all good signs there for Ballarat. Still a lot of room for improvement there, and no doubt they can take that in their full stride. As we turn our attention to this week's games, and we'll turn our attention to Darley and Melton. I think Darley might just be a bit too strong here.
I think they will. I think they've probably got a little bit more experience. So this will be an interesting test for both of these sides looking to get their first win. But I think Darley will have a little bit too much experience on the court.
Agree with you on that one there. East Point versus Sebas. We saw East Point come off with a really big win on the weekend. Sebas are up and about. This is going to be a very good contest.
I think this could be quite possibly the match of the round. You've got, obviously, Sebas didn't get up round one, but they were playing North Ballarat City, who is a really, really good side. So I think this will be a pretty even contest, and wouldn't surprise me if Sebas gets up.
Yeah, I'll be tipping Sebas in that one there. Melton South versus Sunbury. Another very big game on paper.
I think this is probably a good indication for Melton South where they sit against some of those top sides. Obviously, Alan Watson's coming in. He doesn't know a lot about this competition, and a lot of these girls haven't played at this level before. They've played higher levels
but
that sort of
in this
thing,
competition.
In this competition, so
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how Melton South goes. If you add T. Salamau into that goal lineup, that makes Melton South a lot stronger to start with. I'm tipping Sunbury Lions, but it'll be an interesting match to see where the Panthers are sort of sitting.
What does make this very interesting is we've got, without having the two grand finals going head to head, we've got more players who played locally in this grand final than probably from a grand final last season than we have in any other games, because as you mentioned, Lansfield made the grand final last year. They've got 5 grand final players in there, plus the coach as well. So, and then of course you've got the reigning premiers as well. It's a nice little interesting combination.
It is, and obviously we might see what the difference is between the two competitions.
Exactly,
as well.
That's what's going to make it special. Like we've almost got the FNL versus Ballarat here in this very game.
It is, so I think it'll be interesting, but I think, the Lions will be too strong.
Yep, I'm with you on that one there. North Ballarat City versus Rodan.
Look, another interesting match. You've obviously got two sides that were in the top 3 last year. So North Ballarat City's copped a tough start to the season, and probably Rodan as well. Rodan's copped Sunbury Lions and North Ballarat City in the first 2 rounds, the 2 grand finalists. So it doesn't get much tougher than that. Look, I think North Ballarat City will probably get over the line, but it's a match that can go either way. Yeah,
I'm going to back on your shooting percentage thing before. If Rodan pick up their shooting percentage, they will be too strong and win this one in a close one. And the last game, we've got Lake Wendouree and Ballarat.
So obviously our first look at Lake Wendouree this year, and you've got Ballarat who suffered a big loss. So this is probably going to be one of those interesting ones. I think Lake Wendouree probably will get up. But
I'm with you.
It's one that could go either way.
Yeah, I think so. They had a pretty good year last year, and I expect them to sort of carry on that sort of form. So thanks so much for jumping in the hot seat for this week to look at all the BFNL netball, and we appreciate your support in promoting it, and make sure you. If you're out the east side, pick up your copy of the Star Weekly. We've got some cracking stories of all the BFNL netball in there, which you do a great job covering. So we really do appreciate your support this week.
Thanks for having me.